In the past few years, I've become kind of bored with Horde games. We have seen games like Metal Gear Survive and State of Decay trying to keep this game style alive, but ultimately somewhat failing to do so. Games like Dying Light, Call of Duty, and Gears of War have done a good job at keeping this mode relative. However, I never get a ton of fulfillment with these titles. While at E3 2018, I had the opportunity to play the unforeseen game called Strange Brigade. At the time of this appointment, I had no previous knowledge of this game or what Rebellion had in store for me. After playing the demo, I felt true fulfillment like never before. Not only did this game offer what I had been looking for in a Horde-style game, but it also provided a time frame and art design that had been passed over for years as per the 1930s. The overall presentation of the game, from start to finish, made me smile from ear to ear. The narration of the game was great as well. Glenn McCready did a spectacular job making the players feel like they were part of a 1930s adventure series. Not only did he provide tips and tricks, he also provided hilarious banter that gave shout-outs to games and movies like Metal Gear, Call of Duty, Indiana Jones, and more. To be honest, I expected the graphics and art style to be a bit lackluster and was surprised to find the in-game visuals at a much higher quality than expected. From what I saw, the overall art style and visual aspects really made me feel like I was on an action-packed adventure with other treasure hunters. During the playthrough, it was hard not to just walk around and take all the scenery in. Even though the game did not have ultra-realistic graphics, the backdrops and scenery were amazing. Parachuting into a cavern with hidden cities inside, finding undiscovered parts of Egypt, or looting a crashed pirate ship filled with gold really put the cherry on top of my experience with this game. The level design is something that Rebellion should be really proud of as well. From large spread out levels in the story mode to the same levels fully restructured for the Horde mode, the game never made me feel like the levels were getting repetitive. One thing that really stood out to me in the levels was the environmental traps. These traps range from spiral blades, exploding barrels, underground spikes, and more. Not only did this come in handy fighting off the undead hordes, it was also something hilarious to use when playing online with friends. There's nothing like accidentally activating a trap with your buddy standing right on top of it. Yes, they died, but damn was it funny. The story mode was better than expected as well. The transitions from cutscene to gameplay was a pretty great concept, and it really showed the game's true potential and kept along with its fantastic 1930s theme. We have seen games like this in the past with a quote-unquote story mode, and it turns out to be just a Horde mode with extra cutscenes. That is not the case with Strange Brigade. As said before, the levels are sprawling and the story is full of mystery and adventure. Although it can be a bit corny at times, I enjoyed the build-up to taking on the evil Sateki. The game's story is playable in offline and online mode. In the online mode, you could play with up to 2 to 4 co-op players, and I will say, although the story is playable with just one character, it was a bit easier and more enjoyable playing it with other players than playing it alone. I also wish there was an additional couch co-op mode. I understand that Rebellion has never really been a couch co-op type of studio, but I really feel this game could have benefited from that addition. The 4 characters, DeQuincy, Nalangu, Frank, and Gracie, are all similar, but have different factors as well. With each character comes special abilities that only that one can perform. As you find relics in the game, more abilities become available to you. The gunplay was tight and precise with a large variation of weapons. There is also a magic gun box like in Call of Duty that lets you pay a small fee and get weapons that do massive damage. The only complaint that I have about the gunplay was the missing hipfire. I do understand that this is a third-person game, but there were a lot of times I found myself cornered by the Horde and not able to shoot where I wanted because of the shooting restrictions. The Horde mode was exactly what it says it is, but the thing that made this mode and the game really interesting as a whole was the enemies you had to face off against. The variety of monsters you faced were zombies, mummies, giant scorpions, Satekian champions, ghouls, skeletons, and more. This added a dynamic to the game that a lot of other titles do not have. The score attack mode is something I did not play too much of. The mode is pretty much an arcade mode to challenge friends and see who can get the highest score. Although the addition of a third mode in the game is great, it didn't really interest me as much as the other two modes. Overall, I would say I enjoyed my time with Strange Brigade. With more characters and content coming after launch, I will definitely be playing this game for many months to come. I do hope to see Hipfire added to this game in the long run, but would really like the addition of couch co-op. Strange Brigade is a fun, over-the-top co-op shooter that is great to play with friends, but manageable without. I would have to say that Strange Brigade is probably my dark horse game of 2018. If you love co-op, treasure hunting, and much more, definitely make sure to pick this game up. We here at CinemaLeaks.com give Strange Brigade a 4.5 out of 5.